This presentation is Leadership Structures in Higher Education by Jacqueline Kajansky. When looking at leadership in higher education, the styles have remained the same for many years. The leadership structures will vary depending on the institution. The structures may even vary within the same institution within different departments. There are many similarities and/or differences between community colleges and private universities. This presentation and my paper had looked at the differences and similarities that were found within the leadership at a private university or college versus that of a community college. Some of these similarities and differences that were looked at dealt with leadership styles, the structures or the organizational structures of the institution, the financials, and the governance. In looking at these leadership styles, it's been found to have transformational changes have been happening either in the use of technology, how we communicate with one another, and then there's also been changes from a dictatorial style that need to be more of a democratic style in higher education. It's been found that it's essential for today's leaders to understand their institution's purpose and/or their vision as it relates to the enrollment, strategic planning, and budgeting. Some of these styles that are found currently in higher education are servant leadership. Again, servant leadership focuses on the leader who needs to be attentive to the concerns of their followers. They also need to be able to nurture their followers, and this is a style that has been found to be effective in higher education. There's also transformational leadership as another style that can be used to now advance college leaders as they're beginning to make these essential changes and open up the communication channels with their followers. There's been a limited amount of research on the usefulness in higher education on the model of learning organization leadership, and it's been started to be found that this may have a positive impact on higher education institutions and leaders. When looking at organizational structures or just looking at the org charts of community colleges or private universities, they tend to kind of be the same, where they're led primarily as a vertical organization that is leading from a top-down approach. Leaders operate in parallel with one another, while each area focuses on sometimes promoting its own internal goals and objectives. Many of these leadership positions are filled by leaders who have either served on previous boards, were senior faculty members, or individuals that move up in positions. Community colleges and private universities follow a similar pattern, usually having a president that reports up to some type of board of directors. There are many vice presidents or VPs over the different key areas that report up to the president. If a campus has more than one location, you would see numerous campus presidents. Again, in looking at the organizational and/or departmental structures, some of those similarities that are found are those of having a campus president. Many schools have a provost, deans of multiple departments, a chief financial officer, and an academic affairs area. Differences that were shown are community colleges deliver based on the need of campus community, where the private universities look more to the president for leadership. Central administration follows bureaucratic, hierarchical decision-making styles, while the academic administration may be following a more collegial process. Research has shown that there are significant differences in the governance of community colleges and private universities. In order to be successful, presidents will need to be active and informed advocates at the state and local level, while maintaining relationships with federal governmental offices. There also was governance around college accreditation. Both the private and community colleges were accredited through the Higher Learning Commission, a commission of the North Central Association of Colleges and Schools, or the HLC. The HLC works directly also with the U.S. Department of Education to provide more guidance. In looking at the financials, community college leaders are often affected by decisions that come from the state, local, and community members and how they will utilize their funds. The private universities do not have as much outside influence when it comes to using these funds. Also, the majority of the community college budget is funded through the state or local property taxes, while the private colleges are funded through public fundraising. In conclusion, while there are many similarities and differences when comparing community colleges and private universities, either in leadership structures, financials, and governance. These similarities and differences bring with them each their own strengths and weaknesses that affect the decisions that the leadership teams will make.